I am not suicidal, and I would never take my own life. And when they meet those who believe, they say, we believe. But when they are alone with their evil ones, they say, indeed we are with you, we were only mocking.
There was a guy called Sabbatai Zevi. Sabbatai means Saturn, and he was promoted as the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah. This is in the 1600s. He had a massive following, Jewish following, and the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire demanded that he either prove he was the Messiah or converted to Islam. So he converted to Islam, and they became known as the Donma, which means to turn, but they didn't turn.
And of the people are some who say we believe in Allah and the last day, but they are not believers. They think to deceive Allah and those who believe, but they deceive not except themselves and perceive it not.
And then the next century, along came Jacob Frank, and Jacob Frank took Sabbateanism on to another level of evil. He claimed that he was a reincarnation of Zevi, and he moved forward with this whole concept of the Donma, where you appear to be something like a Judaism or Roman Catholicism or whatever. Well, actually, you are this Sabbatean Frankist cult, and you manipulate or have yourself manipulated into positions of power in these different religions and different cultures, but actually you're representing this Sabbatean cult all along.
And when you see them, their forms please you, and if they speak, you listen to their speech. They are as if they are propped up on blocks of wood. They think every shout is against them. They are the enemy, so beware of them.
And the Rothschilds are Sabbateans, Sabbatean Frankists. And funnily enough, you had this connection between Mayer Amschel Rothschild, who basically started the Rothschild dynasty. You had Adam Weishaupt, this Jesuit-educated Jewish guy, and they created the Bavarian Illuminati in 1776. What a lot of history doesn't include is that the third person in that trinity that created that Illuminati was Jacob Frank, who was a friend and associate of Mayer Amschel Rothschild. And Frank moved in on the Roman Catholic Church and basically took that over. It was the Sabbatean Rothschilds and Sabbateans in general that created modern Israel.
I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Behold, I will make them the synagogue of Satan, which they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship at thy feet.
Sabbatai Zevi declared himself to be the Jewish Messiah in the year 1666. This false Messiah led the largest Messiah movement in Jewish history and attracted more than half the population of European Jews. How did he do it? By promising to return the Jews to their ancestral homeland in Palestine. Sabbatai Zevi made everything that was holy unholy. He rejected the rules of the Jewish holy books and every standard of Jewish decency. There would be no more guilt or sin or right or wrong. No more sexual taboos, no more 10 commandments, no more fasting. Instead, there would be feasting. Sabbatai Zevi's immoral leadership finally fell from grace when the Sultan of Turkey threatened him with torture unless he converted to Islam. Sabbatai converted to Islam, but he brought his infectious evil theology with him. 1 century later, Jacob Frank proclaimed himself to be the reincarnation of Sabbatai Zevi and the living Messiah for all Jews. Not even Sabbatai Zevi was as evil as Jacob Frank and his disciples. Jacob Frank rejected traditional Judaism. He reversed the truth and told his followers, since we can't all be saints, let's all be sinners. The best way to imitate God, said Frank, is to cross every boundary, transgress every taboo, and mix, as God did, the sacred with the profane. Orgies, incest, rape, and sexual intercourse with children, including sodomy on young boys, were no longer sinful.
Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And they followed and said what the devils had recited during the reign of Solomon, teaching people magic, and they knew that whoever purchased the magic would not have the hereafter any share. So woe to those who write the scripture with their own hands, then say, this is from Allah, in order to exchange it for a small price.
In 1773, Jacob Frank traveled to Frankfurt, Germany, the birthplace of the Illuminati. That's where he formed an unholy alliance with Adam Weishaupt and Mayor Amschel Rothschild's banking dynasty. The ambition of the Rothschild dynasty was to win control of the world's gold, central banks, and wealth. The Rothschilds sent John Jacob Astor, Jacob Schiff, and Paul Warburg to America, where they influenced the privatization of the Federal Reserve banking system and the dismantling of the American Constitution. When this unholy alliance of conscienceless men was seeded, a cancerous war against humanity erupted.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Sabbatai and Frankists expanded their movement by masquerading as converts to other religions. They converted to Catholicism and to Islam, where they embedded themselves and spread their Luciferian infection as closeted crypto-Jews. The Frankists traded their wives and daughters with members and with powerful non-members who they needed to seduce into their cult.
You see many of them hastening into sin and aggression and the consuming of what is unlawful. Wretched indeed is what they have been doing. There are certain men, kept in unawares, ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lawlessness.